Hey, what's up, you guys? Great to have you back on the show. I'm Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. In today's episode, I want to talk about some NBA players that were at one point considered to be the new and next Larry Bird. But before we start with this video, if you like this video, do me a favor, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, enough said, let's get right into it. All right, you guys, so the first player that I actually want to talk about is Wally Szczerbiak. I gotta be honest, I actually completely forgot about that time, but at some point, especially in college, he was supposed to be the new Larry Bird. At the 1999 NCAA tournament, Wally Szczerbiak became a household name because this is exactly where he helped to guide his 10th-seeded Miami of Ohio team to the Sweet 16 and quickly became a media darling because of his crazy performances while playing for a relatively unknown school drew ample comparisons to Larry Bird. He played in the NBA from 1999 until 2009, averaged 14.1 points, 4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and was a one-time NBA All-Star. So he definitely had a solid NBA career, but still far away from Larry Bird.
Hey, Wally, do you remember who you were compared to when you were coming out of college?
Larry Bird. That was kind of the comparison back when I was the 6th pick in the draft.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, but hard to live up to.
I know. Didn't quite meet up to those expectations. Had a pretty good career. Made an all-star team, bunch of playoff runs, but, he was obviously tremendous, so...
And the next player that I want to talk about is Keith Van Horn. I remember it like it was yesterday. Back at the 1997 NBA draft, there was a serious debate going on who should be the first pick, the number 1 pick, Tim Duncan or Keith Van Horn. And I actually was also undecided for myself. Now in hindsight, of course, totally crazy. But I gotta admit, back in the days in college, Keith Van Horn was really, really good.
3, 2.
I think the best thing that would describe my game is versatility. I think that's what a lot of the teams like about me is that I can go inside, I can go outside.
Keith Van Horn's all-around play is what made him the coveted number 2 pick in the NBA draft.
Well, I've always wanted to be a well-rounded player, and I think a lot of guys that are 6'9", 6'10", just get stuck in the post, and they fail to recognize, another half of the game, which is the perimeter game.
Although he's nearly 7 feet tall, Van Horn has great shooting range.
He's a great three-point shooter. I believe he's the best shooter in this draft.
Keith Van Horn for 3. NBA 3 range he scores.
He has unbelievable range. He'll be able to shoot the NBA 3 easy, stretch defenses. He runs the floor.
And now Van Horn.
He's got great hands, and he can really post up.
Keith's size and ability to score from anywhere on the court have drawn comparisons to a living legend who could also do it all, Larry Bird.
I think we're different players. Larry was obviously, the best. And I would not mind playing at all like him, but there are differences, and I think people will recognize that once I play in this NBA.
What they do have in common is their ability to come through in the clutch.
Fall away.
Hits it!
Unbelievable.
Miller, the floater off the glass. Goliak tried to follow Van Horn. Will he get it? He got it! He got it!
In years.
Is it going to Doliak? It goes to Van Horn. He takes it in! He did it again!
Sometimes the leprechaun is with you, and other times it's not. Fortunately, I was in the right spot at the right time, and those balls happened to drop.
Utes want to run. Van Horn, who else on the lead end of the break?
He soars up high and hammers it home.
He's a guy who's going to come to practice early, stay late, work hard. He has an unbelievable coachability quotient. He wants to get better. He got better every year at Utah. He really thrives on competition. He enjoys the challenge of being a good player.
I think you need a certain amount of ability, but, if you don't work hard with your ability, then you're not going to get anywhere.
The 3, is that sweet? This guy's got a great future ahead of him.
Indeed, Van Horn's future was looking bright, and he actually did have some similarities to Larry Bird. He had an outstanding rookie season, almost averaging 20 points and 6.6 rebounds a game, which he even topped in his second season, averaging almost 22 points and 8.5 rebounds. But for whatever reason, Van Horn was never able to take the next step, which was very unfortunate because that guy had so much potential. Even though he was putting up some great numbers in his first couple of seasons, he never made the All-Star team, and at the young age of 30, he even retired with the Dallas Mavericks. And the next player that I want to talk about is Adam Morrison. One of those guys that now has a bad reputation, but while he was playing in college really had high potential and was one of the hottest players in the country.
I was a hometown kid. I was a Player of the Year candidate.
Here comes the All-American. The nation's leading scorer at nearly 29 points per game.
The bigger the moment, the better he was.
Kid has been compared to Larry Bird.
I think I had 5 40-point games that season. I was really rolling offensively. My expectation was Final Four, to be honest.
Now, let's head courtside, along with former Gonzaga standout Adam Morrison.
Nobody prepares you for fame. I get remembered for showing emotion, but during that season, I felt that I was one of the better players in college basketball, and I think I proved that.
Here's Morrison. Book it.
I was a big Larry Bird fan, and I wanted to be like him in every aspect, so it kind of came and stuck.
He told me that he studied Larry Bird.
He obviously loved Larry Bird and looked up to Larry Bird. I mean, the elbow pocket was way up high.
The mustache, everybody remembers his, so that was part of it, and then the media took a hold of it, and it kind of just took a life upon itself. Looking back on it now, there's times where I'm like, but also created a brand for myself.
Once you watch him for a while, you realize it's different and it's unorthodox, but it's incredibly effective. I mean, the way he could really score.
While Morrison had an incredible and successful college career, his NBA career, was the total opposite. He was the third pick of the 2006 NBA draft selected by the Charlotte Bobcats and was supposed to help the franchise take the next step. And even though he almost averaged 12 points in his rookie season in 29 minutes, he was only shooting 37% from the field, and his defense was highly questionable. He had to sit out the entire next season due to a knee injury, and once he came back, his offensive skills were gone. From 2008 to 2010, he played with the Los Angeles Lakers, was a 2-time NBA champion, but was hardly getting any minutes and didn't play one single NBA game after 2010. The next player that I have on my list is Dirk Nowitzki, and with Dirk it's a little bit different. The players that I named before were actually players that were compared to Larry Bird when they were still playing in college. With Dirk, the comparisons actually came throughout his NBA career, and to be honest, I can actually see why. Both were tall players with an incredible shooting touch, a very high basketball IQ, not the most athletic players, but very fundamentally sound, both very clutch and deadly from beyond the arc. But even with this comparison, there's one thing that I will never understand. The one thing that always stood out to me with Larry Bird was that he was an incredible passer. And with all the great things that Dirk Nowitzki was able to do, passing was not his sweet spot, to say the least. Still, from the players that are listed so far, probably the closest one.
First of all, that little girl right there, I remember when she was born. But to put things in real perspective, I was 15 when Dirk came in the league. Now I'm 62.
And the last player on today's list is going to be Luka Doncic. Actually, he's still a young kid and has a long road ahead of him, but the comparisons with Larry Bird are undeniable. Even Doc Rivers couldn't help himself in actually comparing Luka Doncic to Larry Bird. And in comparisons to the other players that are listed before, Luka is actually also blessed with a passing gift. Still, if I would have to make a decision who I think is the better passer, I still would give the nod to Larry Bird, but as I said, Luka still has a long road ahead of him.
I don't give a damn about how this kid in Europe looks. I understand he's a 6'8" point guard. He's surreal. He'll probably be the number 2 overall pick.
On the defensive end.
Luka. Tricked him. Found Jordan. Now his second. So out of the game he's going to go. Here's Luka's handles.
We're going to get some Globetrotter stuff too. Say that for Devin Harris.
About your base down there. You have to get that good base.
Luka to Benny Smith.
I think Luka gets a pretty tough catch, catches it, takes his time,
and just backs down a guy that's simply not strong enough.
All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I guess I'll see you next time, and peace. I'm out.